Hi and welcome back. In this video we're going to talk about queues and stacks again, and we're also going to introduce a new concept that is very popular in programming but can sometimes cause a bit of confusion. Let's recap queues and stacks first. You remember this diagram from before and how in a queue you add new elements at the end, and when you remove an element it always gets removed from the start. This is just a queue, like a queue for the supermarket, for example. And a queue in Python we can implement using lists or using the deck module or the queue module as we've seen before. Here's a simple sample implementing a queue using lists. Here we've got our class queue. When you create a new object, it sets self.items to be an empty list, and then you can push and pop. Push and pop are two names that are frequently used in the context of queues and stacks. I'm not really sure why these names are exactly used, but you can think of it as, adding a new element and removing an element. And depending on whether you are working with a queue or a stack, the adding or the removal is going to happen in a different place. Here, when we push in a queue, we append an item. So we add a new item at the end of the queue. And when we pop, what we do is we create a temporary variable called head and set it to be self_items0. And then we set self.items to be self.items starting from the value 1. And then we return the head. This is not a very reliable solution, by the way. What happens if you only have one item, say? But I just wanted to illustrate how a queue might work if you were to implement it yourself. Just append at the end and remove from the start. And this is sort of how you'd use it. You create a new queue object, and you can push values to it. Let's push 5, 7, and 11. And then you can print the result of popping, and that is going to sort of print out 5 at first, and then it's going to leave 7 and 11 remaining in the queue. You can pop again, and that's going to sort of remove the next item from the list and print it out, and leave your list with only 11. With a stack, it's slightly different. This is a stack, and you can remove elements from the top, and when you add another one, it goes back on the top. So the oldest elements are always at the bottom, and newer elements are at the top. And again, implementing this in Python, you'd have here your class stack, which again defines self.items to be an empty list. When you push at the start of the list. So we are saying that self.items now is a list of only the new element, which is the parameter, plus self.items. So that's going to join the two lists together. You're going to end up essentially adding an element at the start. And pop is just going to do self.items.pop. And as you can see, lists allow us to pop. And that just sort of removes the last element from the list and gives it back to you. So the stack pop and the list pop really do the same thing. And again,